Hello everyone, myself Nirmala Rani, Department of English from Manamacharya Institute of Technology and Sciences Tirupati. And today in this video, I am going to share you important information about one of the grammar part that is called degrees of comparison. Then we have a simple question that is, why do we use degrees of comparison? And what is the use for using of degrees of comparison? Nothing but it is when we want to compare a person with any other person, or also if we want to compare a thing to any other things, then we depend on degrees of comparison. That's why we should know how to use correctly degrees of comparison in the sentences. Now let's go to our videos. Degrees of comparison. What does it mean? And degrees of comparison are used to compare a person, place, or thing with another. Generally, these are formed with adjectives and adverbs. There are three degrees of comparison. So, here, degrees of comparison are used to compare a person, a place, or anything with another. If we want to compare a person or a place or a thing with any other, we follow the rules of degrees of comparison. Generally, these degrees of comparison are formed with adjectives and adverbs. In the previous videos, as I told you about grammar part called adjectives and also adverbs. Adjective is a quality word, and adverb means how a work is going on and how something has been done. And here there are three degrees of comparison. Now, what are the degrees of comparison? One is positive degree, second one is comparative degree, and third one is a superlative degree. Now, we'll go for deeply what is meant by a positive degree and what is meant by comparative degree and also superlative degree. This is a small chart. This can tell you about adjectives or adverbs also there in positive, comparative, and superlative. In all the three forms, if we read these all adjectives, we can notify that this is in positive, these are in comparative, and these are in superlative degree. Let's read one by one. Easy, easier, easiest. Clever, cleverer, cleverest. Happy, happier, happiest. Cheap, cheaper, cheapest. Beautiful, more beautiful, most beautiful. Good, better, best. Bad, worse, worst. Like this, we can able to change the adjective forms in from positive to comparative and from positive to superlative, like this. And in this next video, next slide, we are able to see some images or some pictures are showing that degree of comparison, positive degree of comparison. Rabbit is a cute animal. The elephant is a big animal. Giraffe has a long neck. So these are all three images or pictures or enacting that these are, or saying that these are expressing about positive degree of comparison. In these sentences, the nouns called rabbit, giraffe, and the elephant have one quality above average. These sentences are in positive degree. We have to remember that there is no other comparison or thing in these sentences to compare them with. We remember that in these positive degree or positive sentences, the nouns or the nouns have actually quality, one quality as I say, and these kind of sentences are in positive degree. and there is no other comparison for things or for nouns. Here nouns are rabbit, giraffe and an elephant. Here in positive degree there is no comparison. It is only the thing in exist. So this positive degree is divided into two kinds. One is degree of equality and degree of inequality. Now, what does it mean by degree of equality and mean of degree of inequality? We'll discuss at first degree of equality, and it is the picture showing the degree of inequality. Degree of equality. Positive degree is used to compare two things which are equal in status or same equality. And examples also I have taken here. Mary is as pretty as her twin sweetie. James is as intelligent as Joyce. So degree of equality is showing that or this can be used to compare any two things and which are equal in status. Here we are comparing Mary with her twin sweetie, but these two guys are pretty. So these Mary and Sweetie, these two girls are looking pretty. And in second example, James and Joyce, these are two persons, we are comparing them. But these two are equal in status or same equality they have. Here the adjectives in positive form is used with conjunction as to express equality. Now the suitable conjunction used for degree of equality is known as it can be used to express equality. And another examples also we want to look now. Silver is as expensive as gold. Anna is as rich as Tina. In these two examples also, this is we are comparing these two things like silver and gold, but equally in they are equally in status. Anna is as rich as Tina. We are comparing these two persons. These two persons are in equal status. Degrees of inequality. Positive degree is also used to compare two things which are not equal and do not have status. Just opposite to the equality called inequality. And this kind of positive degree is also used to compare two things but they are not equal and they do not have any equal status. Example, Tina is not so tall as her friend Veena. Tina is not so beautiful as Veena. Here also we are comparing these two persons with from Tina to Veena, but Tina is not so tall as her friend Veena, but Veena is a taller girl. I mean, she is the tall girl than compared to the Tina. And note what we remember here. Here the adjective is in positive form is joined with the conjunction not so as to express inequality. Here also there is a suitable conjunction used to degrees of inequality that is not so as. This can be able to express inequality. And one more example I added, English is not so difficult as Malayalam. English is not so difficult as Malayalam. So because here we are following this kind of pattern called inequality. Now, second kind of degrees of comparison is called comparative degree. The adjective of comparative is used to show the wide differences between two things. If we want to compare any two things with the wide differences, we follow the use of comparative degree. But positive degree means there is no comparison but only equal status we follow to use. But in comparative degree, remember that this is used to show the wide differences between any two things. Examples we now I want to include here. The lion is faster than the tortoise. The tortoise is slower than the lion. Here, these are the two images. One is a lion or a tiger, but it is a tortoise. Here, this lion or tiger is faster than the tortoise. And the is slower than the lion. Like this, we have to compare these two things, or two animals, or two persons. The cycle is cheaper than the car. The cycle is cheaper than the car. The car is more expensive than the cycle. So in this example, we are comparing two things. One is cycle and car. So the cheaper thing is a cycle and more expensive thing is a car. We are comparing with using of these adjectives cheaper and more expensive. And here the adjectives of comparative degree are followed by than. Thus, this kind of comparison is called comparative degree. For comparative degree, we are using a suitable conjunction word, that is than. So, if we able to see any sentences within using of the than, then those are called, or the comparison is called comparative degree. Then we go for the third kind of comparison, that is superlative degree. Degrees of comparison in that, the third one called superlative degree. And one example I would like to share with you. Mount Everest is the highest peak in the world. Mount Everest is the highest peak in the world. Here we used the for a superlative degree. This is called an article, especially definite article. So before an adjective, we able to use definite article the. An airplane is the fastest mode of transportation. John is the tallest boy in the class. In this example, airplane is the fastest mode of transportation. We also we used before the adjective, and John is the tallest boy in the class. Tallest is adjective, and the before that we use the. These are called superlative degrees, and here we understood that the adjective in superlative degree is preceded by the definite article be. Thus, such sentences are said to be in superlative degree. So that's why these are called superlative degree. Examples also there. Mr. Rao is the most honest employee in his office. The most is in superlative degree. India is the most populous country in the world. Now, definition of positive, comparative and superlative degrees is over. Now we are in changes of sentences into comparisons. Actually, there are four models used in changes. Now we are looking at model number 1. Actually, students, if you learn this table exactly, then we are able to change any sentences from positive to comparative, or from positive to superlative, or from comparative to superlative, or comparative to positive, like this, etc. Now we look at model number 1, positive degree. Firstly, we have to divide in, we have to use these three kind of degrees in a page, like positive degree one side, comparative degrees in the middle side, and superlative is at the last page, at the last column. Now like this we are able to divide them. First, what is the structure for positive degree in model number 1? No other, as, or so, plus A1. What is meant by here A1? Adjective 1. That means positive degree. A1 plus as plus subject. And structure for comparative degree, subject plus verb plus A2. A2 means adjective in second form, means comparative degree, plus than any other. Than any other. And for superlative degree structure, subject plus verb plus A3 adjective in third form means a superlative degree and plus of all. This is the structure for both, for these are all positive, comparative and for superlative degrees. In this model number 1, let's take some sentences and we are just replacing in them in these all places. That means we are using these are all words in the sentences. Example: no other city in Rayalaseema is as developed as Kurnool. This sentence is in positive degree. Now, how we have to change this sentence into comparative degree? We are comparing with Rayalaseema to Kurnool. We are taking two things and also we have to use than and um, second form or second adjective means A2. Kurnool, it is a subject plus verb. Subject plus verb and here more developed, developed, more developed and most developed. A2 is more developed than any other city in Rayalaseema. Now, superlative degree, how we can change it into superlative degree? Subject, verb, and it is actually the definite article and A3 most developed of all. Just it is going to finish by using of all and it is as usual. Kurnool is the most developed of all cities in Rayalaseema. This is in model number 1. And also I would like to share second example also. No other teacher of English is as good as Syed. This sentence is in positive degree. Syed is better than any other teacher in English. This is in comparative degree. Syed is the best of all English teachers. It is in superlative degree. Just we are replacing in the before slides of structure. No other, as or so, A1 as subject, and in comparative, subject verb A2 plus than any other, subject plus verb plus A3 plus upon. We should learn these very carefully, otherwise we cannot able to change the sentences from any of other degrees. Now, what is the model number 2 in degrees of comparison? One is again positive degree, comparative degree, and also superlative degree. And the structure for positive degree in model number 2 is very few, verb plus as plus A1. A1 means adjective, it is in 1 means positive degree, and as plus subject. Now coming for comparative degree, subject plus verb plus A2 adjective in second form means comparative degree and than many other or than most other or than may other. Any of these three we can use for comparative degree. For superlative degree, subject plus verb plus one of the plus A3 adjective is in third form nothing but superlative degree. And let's go for some examples in model number 2. Very few fruits are as healthy as an apple. This sentence is in positive degree. Now, how we change the same sentence into comparative and also in superlative degree. An apple is healthier than many other or than most other or than may other fruits. Now in the superlative form, subject is an apple, verb is an apple is one of the plus A3 means the healthiest, one of the healthiest fruit, one of the healthiest fruit. Like this, we just change this structure into all these sentences. Another example, very few dishes are as delicious as biryani. Very few dishes are as delicious as biryani. This sentence is in positive degree. And how we change this sentence into comparative means it is a sentence we got. Biryani is more delicious than most other dishes. Biryani is more delicious than most other dishes. This sentence is in comparative degree. By following the second model of rules, we able to change the sentences like this. And in superlative degree, what is the correct sentence formation for this? Let's see that also. Biryani is one of the most delicious dishes. Biryani subject is verb plus one of the plus and A3. A3 is nothing but superlative degree. So by following or by adding that structures and words into these sentences, it is easily we understood. We understood. Now there is model number 3 also to understand clearly about positive, about degrees of comparison. Here also there are three degrees called positive degree, comparative degree, and superlative degree. Now for positive degree, it is a structure. It has some plus verb plus at least. Some plus verb plus at least and as and A1 means positive degree and as plus subject. This is structure for positive degree. And for comparative degree, subject plus verb plus not plus A2 means comparative degree plus than plus some other. And for superlative degree, subject, verb, not plus A3 superlative degree of all. Actually, this we used in model number 1 but excepting not. But in this model number 3, we used not. Subject plus verb plus A3 plus of all we normally see in model number 1, but when we added not here, then it is in model number 3. Now we go for some sentences, then we easily and clearly understood how these are sentences changed from all other comparisons to other degrees. Example, some girls are at least as naughty as I should. Some girls are at least as naughty as I should. Positive degree. I should, it is a subject and is a verb and plus not. Not here means it is a two form, means adjective in second form comparative degree. Than some other, than some other. This in this way we can use the structure in this CD and ST. Aishu is not naughtier than some other girls. And in superlative degree, how we have to change the sentence? Aishu is not the naughtiest of all girls. You see here naughty, naughtier, and naughtiest. These are all adjectives are changed in PD and CD and in ST, like positive degree, comparative degree, and in superlative degree. The same wise, we just look at another example also. Some countries are at least as backward as India. Some countries are at least as backward as India. India, actually this sentence is in positive degree and it is in comparative degree. Now we'll see India is not more backward than some other countries. India is not more backward than some other countries. And third one, India is not the most backward of all countries. This sentence is in superlative degree. India subject is verb not plus A3, not plus A3 plus of all. So just if we replace that structure in these sentences, then there is a no, there is nothing but tension to feel how to change sentences from other degrees, etc. But we follow to remember all these structures for every degrees. Then it will be easy to you. This is like this. I covered examples for model number 3. And as I told you already, we have models of 4 in degrees of comparison. Now we are looking at the fourth model or the last model of comparisons. Here also there is a positive degree, comparative degree, and superlative degree. Now what is structure for positive degree? Is subject plus verb plus as plus A1 as. A1 A1 is a positive degree, and in the starting slides, as I told you that for positive degree, we have to use as means there is no comparison, but here a comparison in actually there is no comparison, that means those are equal in status but not in comparative. In comparative degree, these two nouns or these two person or these two things are just inequality, they have some inequality figure. So the structure for model number 4 in positive degree is subject, verb, as, A1 as plus object. And for comparative degree, object will become the first place. Object, verb plus not. We just remember that we have to use definitely not as a comparative degree of structure in model number 4. Not A2 means comparative degree, and than plus subject. Than plus subject. If we use as means it's showing you that equal status or equal quality in positive degree, but we didn't expect any equal quality in comparative degree, then we should use and also not. And actually there is no structure for superlative. Remember that there is no structure for superlative degree in model number 4. Comparison between two only. Comparison between two only. On this model number 4, we generally use for comparison between two persons or two things or two persons, etc. If we want to compare only two persons or only two things or only two animals, then we go for model number 4. Let's take some examples for this model number 4. First example, Pari is as beautiful as Mobina. This sentence is in positive. Then how I concluded that it is in positive means here we used as. This Pari and Mobina, these two girls are beautiful as same. There is no comparison between these two because we are taking it in equality, not inequality. Equal status, equal beautifulness they have. And in second example, just we are replacing this structure into this example. Mobina, Mobina is actually here object. Mobina is this verb and not. We replaced here. Mobina is not more beautiful than Pari. Mobina is not more beautiful than Pari. Here we didn't see any equal status or equal qualities in Mobina and in Pari. Let's take another example also. Ilias is as good as John. This sentence is in positive degree. Ilias and John, these two persons, are just same quality, same or equal quality. They just same and there is no comparison further. Ilias and for John. And second example, it's showing that this sentence is in comparative degree. John is not better than Elias. John is not better than Elias. So here we are comparing these two persons, I mean John to Elias, but these two persons having some inequality status or inequality range. So this is about model number 4. And here in this video or in this today's video, we covered the topic or we covered everything about the topic of degrees of comparison. So in my conclude, I'm telling you or I'm repeating you again for many kinds of degrees. Those are three: positive degree, comparative degree, and superlative degree. And uses of degrees of comparison is when just want to compare any persons with any others, we use degrees of comparison like positive degree, comparative degree, and superlative degrees. Okay, then we want to compare two persons in equality and inequality in positive degree, and in comparative degree means it is actually comparative degree. We are comparing two persons with wide differences between two things. Generally, we observe many differences in two persons or in these two animals. And superlative degree means there is no comparison. I mean, we are comparing this to all other in the world, or all other persons in the world, or all other animals in the zoo, etc. We are comparing it with. Positive means there is no comparison. Comparative degree means we are comparing two persons with wide differences, and superlative degree means we are comparing that with all other things or all other persons. So it is the images I added. This is model number 1 structure. We should remember that and we should follow to learn that. And examples, this is model number 2. This is structure for model number 2, and this is a structure for model number 3 for all degrees of comparison, and it is the final. And we should remember that there is no sentence making formation for superlative degrees. So I hope guys you understood my today's video. Thank you.